Let me just start off by saying I know this is going to be a controversial topic today, but I think it's something that has to be said because as I was preparing for the 2021 NFL draft and scouting receivers, I went back to really take a look at the system that was in place in Indianapolis underneath Frank Reich and underneath, Nick Sirianni. And what I noticed was there were a lot of in-breaking routes. And there were also a lot of things like, you had your in routes, you had your drag routes, you had your over routes, you had your corner routes. They did a lot of things to create matchup for yak guys to get yards after the catch. I'm telling you, we should be paying really close attention to the effort and time to get spent with guys like JJ Arcega-Whiteside, Jalen Reagor, and at the same time, Travis Fulgham, guys. I think these three guys in particular make very interesting fits in Nick Sirianni's scheme. Let's get to today's topic. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel. The sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this. Once again, guys, my name is Steven Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. Today's topic. Guys, I want to talk about some of the things I saw on film with Nick Sirianni's system that I'm suspecting is coming here to Philadelphia. And the one thing I can tell you is I noticed a lot of drag routes, I noticed a lot of over routes, and I noticed a lot of corner routes. There were definitely some similar elements here of things that we've seen from Doug before, like they ran a crap ton of sail routes, some spread offense concepts. But we got to be aware of the yak, because I think the yak is where we need to be paying attention to in terms of the receivers Nick Sirianni is going to want. We got a lot invested here in terms of a second-round pick in JJ Arcega-Whiteside, right? A first-round pick in Jalen Reagor. And now we're sitting here looking down the barrel of something like, could we potentially playing another first-round pick either on a tight end / wide receiver hybrid or a wide receiver or a second-round pick, if you will, as well. Like, we don't know. It could be a first round, could be a second round, could be third round. We don't know, but we know there's going to be a lot invested here. Not to mention the fact that we have coaches, from our head coach being a wide receiver guy, to our passing game coordinator being a wide receiver guy in Patullo, to Aaron Moorhead coming back. I think it's time we talk about some of these receivers on this roster and some of the scheme-specific things that you're going to see from a route perspective here. So let's get into it. All right, guys. What I have envisioned here today is showing you guys 3 separate routes, okay? I want to show you different players running routes in different scenarios and situations, but I do want to kind of stick to third down and fourth down elements because I think that's when you kind of get into the heavily designed and schemed things from an offense standpoint, okay? Outside of your top, your first 10, 15 plays of a game, the next thing I would say that is really, talked about in meetings before a game is what you plan to do on third down and fourth down conversion situations, right? Those are kind of like really, really big topics you discuss as a coaching staff. So the first play I want to show you guys, it's coming in from a third quarter, 2 minutes left in the game. It's a 3rd and 5. It's just going to be like a little simple drag route completion to Paris Campbell for a first down. So let's just watch the play develop, watch the scheme here, and I'll explain it all as we kind of go along. All right, Indianapolis comes out, guys, in a 3-by-1 set. This is 11-man personnel. 3-by-1 sets or 3-by-0 sets are an effective way if you don't use a lot of motion to get a feel for what the defense is trying to present to you, right? Because they kind of have to tip their hand if you go with a 3-by set. So, if you look at it from the boundary side to the field side, your boundary side X receiver is Paris Campbell. Just keep this in mind, guys. Paris Campbell's a burner, but he's by far not your prototypical X receiver. Paris Campbell's only 6 foot, 205 pounds. He's a 4'3" guy. Like, that's not the guy you expect to see there. But just watch the wrinkles to the offense. Now, if you flip this over and you look at the field side of the things, you're going to see, at first, you'll see Eric Ebron and Zach Pascal are going to switch places here. After they switch places, you're going to have Eric Ebron in line as your tight end, close to the formation. Not in line, but close to the formation as a tight end. And then you're going to have Zach Pascal in the slot. And then you're going to have Chester Rogers all the way out there as your flanker, okay? 3-by-1 set, here's how the routes are going to go. You're going to have basically Zach Pascal running an in route. You're going to have Chester Rogers running a comeback. and then you're going to have Eric Ebron running an over route. On the opposite side of the field, the target of this is going to be Paris Campbell, and he's just running just a little quick, just kind of like drag route. First down, guys. Watch this kind of play out for you. All right, ladies and gents, the next little bit of film I want to show you guys is another 3x1 set, okay? This is kind of points to, Sirianni's point he was making about, hey, you don't have to be that deep in a playbook to, you don't need that many route concepts. You just need to be able to disguise things well and execute things well. Here we go again, 3x1 set, okay? And what I want you guys to watch here is just look at where your boundary side is, look at where your field side is, look where your 3x set is, look where your 1 is, all right? This time, the person playing the X receiver role, this time around, it's not who you think. Right now, we're not having Paris Campbell up there. Now we have Zach Pascal, a little bigger, a little more physical guy, okay? Now, on the 3x1 set, you're going to see again, Eric Ebron is going to switch places this time with the receiver they had there that year called Rodgers, okay? Those two are going to switch positions again. It looks just like the same exact thing we saw in the third quarter, except for on the opposite side of the field, right? This time, the Raiders are going to try to get smart, and they're going to try to disguise some stuff. So I want you to watch kind of as the ball gets hiked here what happens, all right? They're going to try to disguise what was basically, a cover 1 or cover 3 look, and then they're going to actually switch it up and give you a cover 2 look. Now, the receivers, this is how they're going to, the route stems, if you will, guys. You got basically one receiver is going to run basically a kind of a deep comeback route. You got another receiver who's running a go route, kind of getting vertical with you. And then you got your slot who's basically coming underneath on that, just kind of the little dump-off route you got there, little drag route option kind of going on. Now, your X receiver is running a deep in route, and this is where the cover 2 gets called. They called the right route development to beat the coverage. And watch Zach Pascal. This is not a great throw, but watch the play Zach Pascal makes on the ball. Very well designed and executed play here, guys. All right, ladies and gents. So as I pick up from this play here, we're deep in the fourth quarter. Listen, there's like 1 minute and 15 seconds left here. It's a 4th down. And once again, you're in a 3x1 set, 11-man personnel. Let me split the screen up so you can see your field side from your boundary side. You can see where your 3x set is, your 3x1. And the route progressions are not that drastically different again. I mean, they're changing some things up, but it's not drastically different here. So let's go to the top side of your screen here. Your flanker is basically running an in route. Your slot receiver is going to run kind of like a post, kind of skinny post action. And then your tight end, Eric Ebron, is going to be your target of this pass here, guys. And what he's going to do is he's going to run basically that 7 corner route. Down on the bottom side of your screen, when you look at your X receiver here, he's going to basically come back on like a little hitch or a little like kind of comeback route, which is going to create the spacing between this cover 3 defense they're being presented between that corner and that safety. Safety misses the tackle, guys, and you got a touchdown. Like, these are the wrinkles that you get from this type of scheme, right? It's not drastically different route concepts. Yeah, they didn't really motion and move the tight end this time again. They didn't like play that like, oh man, we're lined up in the wrong spot kind of action for the 3rd straight time here on this from the plays I would have been showing you. Still 3x1 set, guys. There's definitely not a kind of like a drag route underneath. So there's none of that, but you can see like they love hitting certain plays, drag routes. They love going on the over routes. They love these corner routes, guys. They love the in routes. They love these type of routes. As I researched this topic, guys, I couldn't help but notice some of the similarity in personnel, okay? If we're simply looking at an issue of development, that we need more attention and more focus on the receivers with good, adequate coaching. Like I said, I think Aaron Moorehead's a lot better coach than he's been given credit for. I just don't think he had a fair shake last year. Mixed in with some scheme fits now. I got to tell you, man, there's similarities. Let's start off with the obvious one here, right? Paris Campbell to Jalen Reagor. Paris Campbell, 6 foot, 205 pounds, right? He's not a big guy. He's not one of these lanky kind of guys. He's got a little more length, a little more, he's got more reach to him than when Jalen Reagor does. He's a low 4'3" guy. I mean, when Rager did his pro day, we heard reports of a 4.2 something. I'm going to say he's in a 4.3 area as well. They're similar, right? Rager being about 5'11", 6-footish, 195 pounds. There's similarity there. There's no doubt to that one, in my opinion. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep digging. When I was looking at last year's draft, if you go back to my the draft profile I did, look at what I said about Michael Pittman Jr. I said, you got to get this guy into a West Coast offense that values run after the catch because he's incredible at it. I thought he was the best in the draft at the run after the catch. Look where he went, Indianapolis. Perfect system. He's 6'4", 220 pounds, 32.5-inch arm length, 9.25-inch hands. Hands a little smaller than what you thought. He didn't take his wing measurements, so I don't know what that really means for him. But then you compare him to a JJ Arcega-Whiteside, 6'2", 225 pounds, guys. JJ's got a little bit more length to him in terms of like the reach and stuff. 33.25 when it comes to the arm length, guys. 9.5-inch hands. JJ's wingspan was just under 80 inches, which is kind of the prototypical area where you look at for an ex-boundary side receiver. My hypothesis is you put JJ Arcega-Whiteside into a system that takes advantage of run after the catch ability. It makes a lot of sense, guys. These are both 4-5 guys. They're 4-5 guys, and they can take contact, and they can hit. These are physical receivers. I'm telling you, I'm watching very carefully for the progression and coaching with JJ. That's when my eyes are glued on this year. The other guy that rings true, and this one is probably the most obvious one I could have made, even though I said the Rager one. I think this one is just easy one to fish out. They're both ODU receivers. Zach Pascal, 6'2", 219 pounds, 32-inch arm length, right? 10-inch hands. This kid's got big hands for a receiver, guys. 76.5-inch wingspan. His wingspan's like really, it's short. That's a really small wingspan for a guy that's 6'2". It's very reminiscent, although he's a different player. He's much more physical, but his wingspan is very reminiscent of a guy like Hightower. Compare that to Travis Fulgham. Travis Fulgham has better measurements, and I think he's a more athletic player, although clearly, like Zach Pascal was a very consistent guy. 6'2", 215 pounds for Travis Fulgham, right? 33.75 inch in terms of the reach, the arm length. 9.5-inch hands, not quite the same size hands, but he's got an 80.875 wingspan. You get JJ out there. You get Fulgham out there. You get Rager out there, and you develop these guys. Now you mix in little Quez Watkins, who I think can definitely play the Rager role as well. You mix in a little Hightower who can add a wrinkle to your offense. Can be a really good special teams player, a punt returner, kick returner, that kind of role. I got to tell you guys, I like the basis of this offense. I think there's more here than people realize. I'm still not saying I wouldn't go receiver in this draft, but I don't know you have to go at 6. If you can develop these guys, the pieces fit. You just got to develop these guys. You got to put them in the right scheme, and I think the scheme is here. I think the right scheme is here for these guys. But we'll see how it works out. Leave your opinion down below, guys. Let me know, what do you think? What do you think about these comparisons, these interesting little mix and matches I just did here? Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about the system coming in, what I just showed you? Do you think these guys are as good a fit as I'm saying? Don't forget, guys, if you want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That's all I got for y'all today. I appreciate y'all's time and everything, guys, but I'm going to jump up out of here. Peace till the next video.